The Not So Perfect Pair by starcollectorsilas. Chapter 3. Luckily, Chuuya ended up not needing the fake hall pass, not running into any teachers on his way back to art, and the art teacher having not even noticed his or Dazai's absence. He ended up loitering at the back gate as he waited for Dazai to arrive. He had put Dazai's bag on the ground, his own on his back as he eyed the gate. It had been a while since they'd skipped via jumping the gate, but the school had fixed the hole in the fence they used to leave from. Still, he hadn't even waited for Dazai to reach him before scaling the gate and dropping to the other side, and Dazai had followed without a word. Now they were in the arcade, which was mostly empty due to most kids being at school. After completely destroying Dazai in a dancing game, they ended up sitting on a bench outside, indulging in the sweets they had got with the tickets they had won while playing the game. It was a pitiful amount, way less than usual, but Chuuya didn't mind, and had a suspicion that Dazai didn't either, especially due to the fact that they had somehow mostly ended up playing games Chuuya liked, or could beat Dazai in. So really, the amount of sweets had nothing on the bragging rights. I can't believe you lost so many times today. I mean, come on, Dazai, it's like you weren't even trying. Chuuya said teasingly, a wide grin on his face as he unwrapped the lollipop. Dazai just rolled his eyes, smiling slightly. Maybe if Chuuya hadn't picked that stupid dance game, I would have won. He huffed dramatically. Hey, you said we could take turns choosing. If you didn't play on your strengths when you chose the games, that's your problem. Chuuya retorted quickly, still smiling smugly. Yeah, whatever you say, dog, Dazai said, voice bored as he waved Chuuya away. Chuuya bristled and was about to shout back when Dazai interrupted him, checking the time. School's going to finish in an hour or so. It's probably alright to go home if you want. Dazai asked, glancing at Chuuya as he grabbed his stuff. Chuuya sighed and grumbled, grabbing his own stuff. Are you ever going to stop referring to my house as your home? He asked with feigned annoyance. Nope, Dazai said happily as they began to walk. Chuuya rolled his eyes but smiled. Then he frowned, thinking. He hadn't been to Dazai's house in a while. A while was an understatement. It had been like a year. Hey, Dazai? He asked, tilting his head slightly. Dazai hummed, matching Chuuya's head tilt. Yeah? Chuuya frowned his eyebrows and hesitated. He knew Dazai's home situation was rocky, so he wasn't sure how Dazai would answer. Hopefully, above all else, it would be honest. We haven't been to your house in ages. Is there a reason? Dazai stiffened slightly, and Chuuya quickly backtracked. I mean, I obviously don't mind. We never really went there often, even when we used to. And my parents adore you, and my siblings do. Even Koyo, she likes you. So it's not a problem. I'm just curious. Dazai opened his mouth to speak, and hesitated. Chuuya waited anxiously, tearing his gaze away from Dazai to look at the ground while they walked. It was very quiet for a few seconds, until he felt Dazai shrug next to him, and heard him speak. It's just boring there since Oda moved away. I don't blame him, really. It was dull even before then. Chuuya nodded slowly as he listened to Dazai talk. Being in Dazai's house had always put him slightly on edge when he was younger. From Mori's seemingly fake smiles and polished edges, to Elise's bubbly outbursts being silenced by a pointed look from the wrong person, he had always felt uncomfortable. Oda had been the most normal, and Oda had moved away a few months ago to live with his friend. Chuuya could easily believe why Dazai would prefer being at his house, and why he'd want to avoid explaining exactly why. Your house is more lively. There's always some sort of noise or someone doing something. I appreciate it. Dazai continued. Chuuya rolled his eyes again and put on a smile, elbowing Dazai. With the amount of your stuff you've left in my room, it's practically your house as well anyways. Dazai stood up slightly straighter and grinned. What can I say? I just made myself at home. I am aware of how incredibly slow I am at this. I'm sorry. It's like a collection of factors. I can say, yeah, things aren't as exciting as they used to be. I don't know if that's just mental health related or something else. And college is yet to start again, like the second semester is yet to start again. So I'm not sure what exactly is holding me back. But I'm trying my best to fix my schedule, organize my day a little better. And I hope these things help because seriously, what is wrong? I don't know. I don't know what's wrong. But yeah, the fourth chapter is gonna be posted after another fic. Let's just hope it doesn't take as long as Gruesome Gorgeous has. And yeah, hope you enjoyed, everyone. Thank you so much for listening, and see you next time.